Oh, it's not there. Hi there, Benny.
Hi, Sherry, how are you?
Okay, the live transcript button is not appearing on the screen, and I was supposed to activate that. So it said it would be down at the bottom.
So do you
And
see where it
it's-
says show closed captions?
Yes,
And there's like a little arrow.
yes, and I looked in there and it just says view full transcript. That was not, I was supposed to see a green, a live, it's supposed to have been, I was supposed to enable it.
Did you claim host?
Yes, I did.
Well, that is strange.
Okay.
Oh,
look and see
it
the
now says
transcription.
a participant enabled closed captioning. So
Okay, well, that I did. That's different than that, than the,
what do you mean? What were you trying to do?
well, there was supposed to be, let me see here. No, I guess the transcript will be there. Okay,
Yeah,
okay. So I did it right then.
you did it.
Yes, okay. Well, I have such good news, but I can't wait till other people come on. I want to tell you.
Cool. Who do you expect to be in the meeting here?
Well, Maureen, Eileen, if she can get to the meeting, Saratine Rizzuto.
Great.
And I sent reminders to everyone, as you know, this morning, because I know that people get busy and you forget.
Yeah.
But I've actually believe it, I've made some progress since we first decided we were going to do this. And I have an amazing person, thanks to Maureen, who's going to be participating.
Fantastic. Excited to hear it.
Yes. Do you know Brandon McIntyre, Terry's wife?
His name is Teray.
Teray. I always pronounce it wrong.
Yes, I know.
Well, his wife is a women's study professor. And when I was at town meeting, I ran into her, and because I had emailed her, but I hadn't heard back, and we had a great conversation, and she wants to participate in this. And
That's fantastic. I'm glad to hear that.
And she gave me input on the various concepts, and I was hoping other people would be here as well, so we can hammer out some details, and then I can get back to the football game.
Great. Are you all set for note taking, or would it be helpful to have someone take notes?
I'm all set, actually. I have a piece of paper in front of me. I try to keep the notes very, very brief for this kind of thing.
Sounds good.
And we're not calling to order yet because the other people are not here yet. And I don't know, maybe they're not coming. I didn't hear from them. Let me just I'll check my phone and see if I have any messages. Eileen can't come. Got that message. Okay, and let's see on email. Yeah, I saw Eileen leave actually, because her cars are parked outside my kitchen window.
Oh yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah, they're now the bright blue car family. They have 2 bright blue cars.
Well, that's good. Can't lose track of them.
That's right. No, didn't hear anything from Sarah Team or Maureen, so I don't know. And like I said, I like to keep these meetings to under 45 minutes, preferably a half hour.
Yeah, I'm for it.
And but we have an agenda. Otherwise I can't continue planning and have people help me plan. Yes, let's see. It's only 4 minutes after 4. It's only 4 minutes after. Okay, that's good. That's good. I have been doing quite a bit of reading on this so far.
Okay.
And like I said, I had this wonderful conversation with Brandon. And you know what? I want to phonetically write her husband's name down. Please say it for me again.
Teray.
Okay, so short A, long A, Teray. Yeah. Come on, folks. You're going to be painting next weekend too?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be going over there around noontime.
I'm going to do the early. I gave them, when I was closing my office, I donated a whole lot of stuff to them.
That's great. Like supplies and stuff?
No, like furniture.
Oh.
Because there was so much I could sell, by the time I needed to be out of there. And so I gave them a couple of computer workstations and task chairs and a tremendous work table. I gave them a professional drafting table that I haven't used in years. It's been in the closet. So I gave them really a lot of stuff.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
and do they have spaces in Stoneham and in somewhere? Don't they have like 3 different places?
I only know the one here, and I was dealing with Evan, who's a very impressive young man, and his crew from the Boys and Girls Club by the America.
Mm-hmm.
So they were able to come with a truck and get some people to help them, because there was some heavy stuff too to move. So now I'm 3 weeks. I'm 3 weeks into my retirement.
How's it feeling?
Well, my sister shared a really wise philosophy with me. She's been retired for quite a while, and she retired very early. She had 30 years into teaching to help my parents when they retired and moved to North Carolina. And she said, every day you should be doing something for your body, for your mind, and for your spirit. And the body and mind part, very easy for me, because I walk, I exercise. Mind, I'm sort of a news junkie and I read a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The spirit part, she had to define for me a little bit better. That's anything at all that gives you joy or helps you bring joy to other people.
Mm.
And it also could mean, and it goes beyond, volunteering and donating and things like that. It's also just like today I was taking my walk and I met up with somebody who's in my book group, and we had this wonderful conversation in the street. And that's considered a spirit thing. And now, because it's football season. I always have the wonderful supportive spirit from my husband, from Reed, but during football season, it's even funnier watching us, especially me, because I'm the loudest football fan, and I really am. He sits there and he's very reserved, and I'm the one who's just screaming and yelling and jumping up and down. And the game is appalling, but I watch, and he can watch 3 games in a row. I can watch 1 full game and maybe part of the second. Today there's 2 games, so I'll be able to do that. But today it's winner take all. They go to the Super Bowl or they go home. So anyway, so the body, mind, and spirit. And like I said, I'm so used to things being like purposeful, structured. So I have a couple of things. I've been taking watercolor classes. And of course, I have this, and I have my book group, and I'm still on committees for professional groups that I belong to, for the association profession, management profession. But I have to also start understanding that those kind of casual, personal, seemingly frivolous encounters are part of what enriches your life and makes it possible to be retired. Although I still would love to do some consulting, because I'm still so very interested in my own profession. But we'll see about that. I do have a professional networking meeting tomorrow. And I had a committee meeting last week. But anyway, so I'm slowly adjusting. When I have a day that's nothing's in my calendar that's formal, I panic slightly. I can't help it. I do. And then, somehow things come up that have to be taken care of. So, I mean, I even went to the movies, which is but it was a special one. I went to see Women Talking, which, if you haven't read that book, it's a fabulous book. I had recommended it to my book group. We had an amazing discussion. And the movie was such an excellent adaptation that when it was over, I could not get up. I was so shaken. It was so emotional that I sat there. And I went with a friend, and I sat there and I said, I can't get up yet. I just had to collect myself. But if you can, the book is very worth reading. And if you can get to see the movie, and it's an intimate movie, but I was glad I was in an immersive environment for cinema instead of at home. It was terrific. So anyway, now, how much longer? It's 10 after. I guess
let's get started.
Okay. So here's the good news is, as I told you, Maureen had recommended Brandon McIntyre, and I sent her an email. Maureen had sent her an email to introduce her to me, and then I sent her an email, and I'm waiting. Didn't hear back, but then fortuitously at the town meeting, I met Brandon. And we started, and I told her about the theme that I was thinking of. I told her about she knows it's embrace equality, equity rather. And I said, my initial concept was that this would be kind of a multi-generational panel on feminism through the eyes of this theme, embrace equity, which is not the same as embrace equality, because the feminism has evolved. And she loved the idea of it being multi-generational, because everyone has a different view of what would be equitable or equal for women in the feminist lens, depending on their age and depending on their life experiences. So I started playing around with some titles, and she said that she would rather be a panelist than a facilitator. I said, that's fine. We can put together questions. One of us can ask the questions. I'm more than willing to ask the questions. But she has that depth of understanding and knowledge of feminist history and womanism, because she's a Black woman on top of that. That would be.
I wouldn't necessarily assume that every Black woman identifies with womanism.
No, but the whole thing is she's very familiar with it. And yes, I mean, I had never heard the term, and of course I went right after our meeting and I started reading about it. But she would like to be on the panel itself, and she is available. And that's sort of a generational slot because I'm going to assume she's in her 30s. And she said, oh, it would be wonderful if you could have a mature high school student, like a senior or early college student, someone young who has a different perspective because she hasn't known or experienced that before. And she asked how many people on the panel, and that's something to be determined. And I said it would not be more than 6 people total. I said otherwise it just gets unwieldy. Probably 5 people. So she, again, she just got really excited. She thought she's even doing some research right now on this topic. So, the evolution. But so I was thinking, since the theme was embrace equity, would be like colon, like feminism from a generational perspective. So embrace equity, and then your understanding of what that means as a woman who considers herself a feminist, and then, of course, the word term generational, I think, might capture the interest of people who would be coming to this, because it would say we're going to hear from different viewpoints. It's not going to be just one talking head with one point of view. So your take on that?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that if we can coordinate panelists who are not only from different generations, but also who have some insight about this question of equity. Like, I guess what I'll say is not everyone who identifies as a woman is going to necessarily have an equity lens about what feminism is or what it means or things like that. So I think if we are selective in our recruitment for people who can like really flesh out that concept and like contribute to that conversation, I think that could be really cool. Yeah.
And I think that between, I wish Maureen and Sarah team here as well, and Eileen, I think this diversity of women, even on the subcommittee, could suggest, identify good potential panelists for this.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to announce who's on the panel until a little later. But if this is a goal, the goal is to find that panel that has insights on equity and they're in different generations. That would be excellent. But in the meantime, then, so we have a concept for a format that we would like it to be a panel, that it would be an intergenerational panel with people who have insights. I wrote this down on equity. And we know that the theme will revolve around the national theme, embrace equity, which initially, until I found that, I originally was thinking about feminism, but then I started thinking about, like I said, how much it's evolved in my lifetime. I mean, I'm, 30, 40 years older than you are. And so I have this long history of personally of what it was like before. And the fact of the matter is, feminism started way before me as well. Of course, I don't think I think we need to have somebody who's of that 60-year-old or older generation.
Yeah.
And I think we need somebody who is that young adult woman, 18 to 21. And then, like I said, Brandon is in her 30s. So do we then look for somebody in their 40 to 50?
Yeah, I think that we can, I think that maybe a 4-person panel would be good. So if it was someone in their late teens, 20s, someone in their 30s, someone in their 40s, someone in their, 40s, 50s, someone in their 60s, 70s, that would be a 4-person panel. I think that could be good if we have, I guess what I would think is I'm less tied to the exact number of people and the exact ages than to, having a well-balanced panel in terms of kind of like what perspectives people are bringing and just like how balanced it is. So I think like a 3 to 4-person panel with ages somewhere all up in that range could be good. Definitely, as long as we certainly have someone who is like someone who's younger and someone who's older.
Yeah, and I think that the middle groups are very important because what I have experienced is that many younger women made the assumption that everything was just going to get better. And unfortunately, things have gotten worse in some ways. I mean, and even Brandon, when I spoke to her, she said, I anticipate abortion will come up in bodily autonomy and how that affects equity. And I said, and I gave her my own personal experiences for being when I was a young woman. About that. The fact that I never wanted to have babies, but not that I didn't love children. I was a teacher. I was a parent to a lot of people's children. If I had ever admitted that back in the 60s, I would have been considered insane. Criminally insane. What do you mean you're a woman who doesn't want to have children? That is your role in life. That is what you're meant to do. I mean, even becoming a teacher, the reason my parents they wanted me to become a teacher was because then I could take leave and have babies.
Another question I have is for the panelists. We talked in the WHRC meeting about whether or not we wanted there to be a man on the panel. And
well, that's the next, I know, understand.
But I think that there's also an opportunity to have somebody who doesn't identify as a man or a woman on the panel, someone who's a trans non-binary person, so I don't know what your thoughts are about that, to bring in sort of some like less binary gender lens to it. I guess one thing I'm thinking about is that one area where I think feminism has been changing is like the greater emphasis that's given nowadays to looking outside of that gender binary. It's not, people are not just men and just women, like there's all kinds of other genders. And where does that live in the discourse about feminism? So that's something that I think could be interesting if we can, if we can look at that in that equity framework. If I don't know if there's any,
if we found just the right person.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking is like, are we open to it if there's somebody who would be a good fit for the panel?
And would be comfortable being that public.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I know that in the past, I remember there was a transgendered woman at the last live program we had for this. This last year we had the international thing. And the last live program, I guess that was 2019, spring of 2019, there was a transgendered woman on the panel who lives in Wakefield. She did then. I don't know where she is now.
Wakefield or Melrose, maybe.
I don't know anyone personally at this point in my life who considers themselves, not locally, but considers themselves non-binary.
It'd be a question of who might be interested and be a good fit.
And that would be, especially like you said, if they in their experiences, have dealt with that challenge to work. And it's hard, it's because we're talking about more than gender equity here, aren't we? That's part of the issue. And like I said, that's why having a woman of color on the panel is really good. As well, because I think the theme goes beyond women. What we have to focus, because we only have an hour and a half. And we finally straightened out. They sent me a bill.
Oh yeah. So what came from that?
Sherry Dalton said, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it."
It was just a mix-up.
They were trying to charge me a lot of money for the janitorial services.
Yeah.
And I was concerned about that because I would like to spend, I'm going to be spending for change. I never usually spend any money. I'm going to spend money on some refreshments. I'm going to contact the vote and have them cater some, cookies and whatever, some baked goods and drinks, hot and cold beverages.
The other option to consider is that this used to happen a lot, especially when Frankie was on the commission. Frankie was like the king of getting people to donate stuff to us.
I don't know Frankie. I don't think I have.
Oh, Frankie Lawton, when he was on the commission for a time, he had to step down for like family reasons in 2019, I think. But anyway, what was I going to say? Oh, soliciting donations is also an option in terms of refreshments. Like that's an area I think where like donations can be good. So one time for the MLK Day event, we solicited like muffins and bagels and stuff from, I can't remember if it was North Ave Diner or it was one of the diners. Like there's a couple restaurants in town that we could ask.
And there are bakeries.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Julio's and there's the cupcake place and the bread company. So there's
Julio's. I don't even know what that is.
Farmland. The Italian bakery in Farmland.
Oh, I didn't know they had like a separate name. Okay, yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, I know because I ordered cakes from them and they do fabulous cakes. Chocolate on chocolate on chocolate. My favorite. So in that case, though, if we're going to solicit donations, I want someone else on the committee to work on that because I'm good. That's where I want to divide up the effort. All of us, I think, are responsible for trying to help identify appropriate people to be on the panel. All of us are part of the planning process and coming up with the questions. And I think Brandon is going to be absolutely invaluable in terms of coming up with questions.
Excellent.
To help us out with that. And so, and of course, I have no problem taking care of promo because I do it all the time for you guys. I even have some started already. And mine's earplug. I hate these earplugs. Let me see if I can share a screen with you. So you can see. Let's see. Share a screen. I want to open. That's the first screen. Okay, here we are. And I'm going to open two things. One is, can you see these?
No.
Graphics?
Did you share your screen?
I thought I did. I clicked on share screen. Let's go back. Yeah, in the wrong place. Okay, let's share screen again. Share screen. Here we go. Okay, so I already went online and found all of these different logos for International Women's Day, Embrace Equity. So I've already done that one.
Cool.
Then I don't need to look at that anymore. This is the generic one, the general one, and this is their usual logo. But I thought it's really nice that there's so many different possibilities.
Yeah.
Although we do need to, for WCAT, who will help us promote this, we will need to center on one particular logo. The other thing I did was, you see all this text?
Yeah.
So this comes from the national site, and I've divided up the content into 3 different preliminary possible press releases.
Okay.
The first one is just says that's the day and defines what equity is as in contrast to equality. The second one is, this is all their messaging.
Yeah.
It's why it's so important to have equity. And the third one is how we can create equity and invites people. They have this wonderful thing on the site. They have all of these women who've sent in images of themselves going like this.
Mm-hmm.
So they invite people to send in images showing your support and solidarity. And it's men and women, anyone who wants to, who can send their support. So they're looking for diverse faces. So I thought that very preliminarily, before we even start talking about we buy time, before we even start talking about the specifics of our program, we start warming people up to thinking about this. So I would send out, 3 different things, and then we can start promoting the program. And as we have more details, we,
Right.
we reveal it. And
yeah.
I'll do it in the newspaper and Patch and neighboring newspapers and the item and all the usual ways, the website. I'm sure that Danielle will appreciate when I have things to put on our website too, and Facebook, because these are various postings.
Yeah.
It can come out in sequence. So I just bring myself a note. I shared the background. So that part of it, like I said, I've already started because it's my wheelhouse and very easy for me to do.
Yeah.
But I would love to have the full committee in terms of a couple of people working on maybe getting donations. In the meantime, though, I think I will find out and get a quote from the Vogue.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to have a
be.
quote. I'd be interested to know what we're talking about for a cost with them.
Yeah. And we want, I assume because it's March, that the best thing to have would be basically, coffee, tea, and water. I'm not going to get into soft drinks because I think they're awful for people. And I really actually don't even like using plastic bottles of water if I can come up with a way to have a bubbler there or something.
Yeah, we used to do, when Pina was on the commission, she had these kind of like water dispenser things. It's like a plastic thing with a little spigot at the bottom.
You know what? I
that.
have a big one of those in my refrigerator, but it's not. We would have to keep refilling it. It probably holds about 2 gallons. So I have something like that at home.
Yeah.
But I think that we want to maybe get donations from Dunkin's or what's the other one? The other coffee. Some coffee. There's several coffee places in town.
Yeah.
If they would give us some boxes, the box.
Yeah, the box of Joe.
Coffee. Yeah, boxes of Joe kind of thing.
I have a question. Do you think, I'm not sure how it works if the event is at the high school, if that changes anything, but there have been times where we had to get or there was talk about a food permit. I'm having only vague memories of this, but there have been events in the past with the HRC where there was some issue.
Let's try this speaker things in a different way. Try it this way. They're just too big for my ears.
Yeah, I was going to say they don't fit properly.
Yeah, they're too big. But these are the ones I have, and the microphone works well. When I spoke with the person from the high school and said we were going to have refreshments and we would want the cafeteria, and I'd get back to her confirming that she did not mention anything about a permit. But since it's not cooked food, that might be the difference. Yeah, it's cookies and things, because that's all we're going to probably have is like cookies, muffins, donuts, that kind of thing. Just any kind of sweets that go with hot beverages.
Yeah.
And
well, I'm happy I can reach out and just double check with Sherry maybe and see if she knows if there's an issue around that.
I think that the person from the that I deal with, the space coordinator at the high school, would probably know. If we're going to shoot, because they have functions there all the time.
Yeah, maybe.
So when I hold off on talking to Sherry, because I'm going to contact her and tell her that we absolutely are going to have a reception, and it's going to be short because the program is 7 to 8:30 and the reception will last maybe 45 minutes.
Yeah, not even. I think it'll be
Yeah,
probably pretty.
like a half hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think most people will be gone by 9 o'clock at night. So yeah, I told it would be a brief light refreshments.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna check on whether.
You could probably stop sharing your screen if you want. Then we'd be able to see each other better.
Oh, okay, that's true. I'll share. Let's share. Okay, here we
There you
go.
go.
Okay. You know that I get very enthusiastic about all this kind of stuff, and then I over prepare. I can't help it. It's my nature. But that's a good question. I didn't think that, because the cafeteria is a place that always has food. It's a space that is for food. That's why I didn't even think that we would need anything special.
Yeah, I don't think it has to do with what space you're doing it in. I think it has to do with.
Okay.
I don't quite know what the thing is.
Well,
So
when I confirm with, and I can't remember her name offhand right now, when I confirm with her that we are going to have that reception, I'll ask her if she knows of any kind of permitting process that we must go through in
That
order
sounds
to
good.
serve food. And if she says, I don't know, then if you want to, I'll tell you and you can contact Sherry Dalton.
That sounds good.
Okay. Okay, so we've got some things figured out here, which is good. But really, really need more people on this committee, because it's too much for just two people to do something like this. It's just really, it's pretty ambitious. I mean, we could, because both of us are used to running big things, but it should be more people.
Oh, and have you talked to WCAT already about the date and if they're available?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Cool.
Not only that, but when I spoke with Barbara, she felt very strongly that we should not simulcast.
Yeah, I remember you saying that in the meeting the other day. Okay.
So WCAT is all set. And I'm thinking, do they ever have projection screens?
Yeah, I was going to say, for the last International Women's Day before the pandemic, it was actually like right at the beginning of the pandemic. It was March of 2020.
It was just before things closed down.
Yeah, so I did a slideshow for that one that was just like playing as people were coming in and sitting down. And it was just like, different prominent like feminist activists. But we could reuse it if you want to.
Or we could show all of those pictures of the people embracing themselves from that website. They also offer packets of stuff to promote International Women's Day, but it's stuff that we can't use. There's too much, and you end up with the whole.
I know, yeah.
So it's not like you can get like 100 things of one kind. You have to get the amounts they give you. So I was curious if you thought also, so if we should be going online and looking for things to hand out to people for International Women's Day. Make an investment in stickers or buttons or something like that. Do we need to do some giveaway items?
Good question.
I'm still waiting to find out if we got a grant. And we're all waiting to find out if we get a budget increase.
Yeah. The giveaways, I'm not sure. I guess my like first, off the top of my head reaction is that it doesn't really feel like necessary, especially because it's a little bit less of a kid oriented thing. Like a lot of the pride activities are very family oriented, a lot like the like Hispanic Heritage Month thing was very like a family event. This, of course, like it's not a family event. People can bring their families, but it's a little bit less of a like, I don't know, like celebration, bring the family type of vibe. Well, and so the giveaways I feel like are particularly nice for kids. Like have a button, have a sticker,
I was thinking that I would still talk to Jen Betcher because of her connections to the Girl Scouts and Brownies in town and try to get a good plus I will send out promo to all the elementary school PTOs about this, that this is, it's also a history lesson through the eyes of different women. And these are the girls who are going to be women someday dealing with these issues, if they've not already dealt with them even as girls now. I mean, we live in a somewhat of a progressive bubble where we live around here, and especially, not just Mass, but Wakefield.
Yeah.
But the rest of the world isn't necessarily so open
Yeah.
and so giving and so fair. So I know that I think this would be something, and not for little teeny girls, but girls who are 10, 11, 12, 13, that kind of preteen and young adolescent. This would be something good for them to be aware of.
Mhm.
It's like start preparing them young for the fight. And
Oh, I'm sorry, this is a different topic, but I want to say it before I forget, because I kept
Oh,
thinking about it
okay.
over the course of the week and then forgetting,
okay,
which is, we used to have for several years in a row at the International Women's Day event, we had the girls a cappella group perform at the beginning from the
Mhm.
high school, which is always fun. It kind of like starts things off with a bang.
We can. I don't know who the music person is and who the contact is, but that should be easy enough to
Me
find
neither,
out.
but I'm happy to try to dig it up and find out who to contact about that.
Okay, that will be one of your, you'll find out about the a cappella group, because
Yeah.
that is something, I mean, if people enter the room and they hear, and if we can get the girls to choose a song that somehow or another emphasizes or amplifies the theme, that would
Yeah.
be great.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be a great way to begin. Yeah, and I always enjoyed that too, very, very much. No, that wasn't off topic. That's part of it, because we're giving something. I mean, this kind of thing is, if we're giving back to the community, we're encouraging a conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've been on the phone already talking. The meeting has been on for 30 minutes.
Yep.
And what I have in my notes is that that I reported that I had met Brandon, and she was very willing to participate, and she felt strongly that the intergenerational perspective would be excellent, and she would prefer to be on the panel rather than facilitator. I have on the notes here that we are looking for people that have actual insights on equity, so we have to be selective in our recruitment. We identified at this point 4 sort of age groups: 18 to 21, someone in their 30s, a 40 to 50-year-old age group person, and someone older than 60 who remembers the bad old days. And we might also include, if we have the appropriate person, someone who's non-binary. Let's see. When it came to the reception, I said I would get a quote from both, but we also possibly could solicit donations, and that's something that a committee would be very helpful doing.
Yeah.
I know Vanessa would help us. She would help. You give Vanessa a job, she'll do it. And she's not even on the commission, but she would do it. I'd love to get, Ashley hasn't been very involved.
Yeah.
And she's only got a couple of months, and I would love to have her be part of this as well. Then I shared graphics and promos that the pre-press kind of promos that we can use. Let's see. Oh, I'm going to check on whether we need a food permit when I confirm with the high school that we are actually going to have a reception. WCAT is all set. We're interested in having projection and possibly showing all the people who are doing the equity embrace. And also, as a kickoff at the beginning, we could also have just the definitions. That could actually, there's great graphics online that are wonderful graphics for showing equity. And I was thinking I could be one of those graphics, because whenever I go to a concert, if it's standing room, I'm 5'2". I am one of those people you have to put in a box so I get my money's worth out of that concert. I never have equity.
You're talking about the graphic with the ball game and the fence and the,
Yeah, but I was thinking that when I go to a concert, it's the same thing. Now the concert halls are standing room,
yeah.
and it's so funny because so often at the festivals I go to, people always kind of push me to the front with little kids because they see me standing there looking and they push me to the front, helping me, have equity of experience. But
Mhm.
it's just, that's a light example, but it's still part of our life challenges.
Yeah.
That if you're a smaller person, certain things, you don't necessarily get your money's worth. In a lot of situations. Okay, back to WCAT, they're all set. I'll ask about the projection screens. We decided it wasn't really essential to give anything away because this isn't really so much a children's family type of thing. And you are going to check to see if girls a cappella would be willing to perform some kind of song and that amplifies the theme.
Mhm.
Okay.
And should we start reaching out about, like, I know some folks in the younger age bracket that I could reach out to.
Yes. Okay, the people here that are in town.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna get in touch with friends of mine who have either children of that age or grandchildren of that
Mhm.
age. And see
Yeah.
if anyone felt that they had someone who would feel comfortable and was articulate and understood what this was about.
Yeah. So we can start reaching out.
Okay,
and
we'll
seeing
start
what we get.
reaching out.
Okay.
We'll start reaching out to people, and we're not making any commitments. We're just
Right.
reaching out.
Just to gauge interest and whatever.
Okay, on that promo stuff, we are just heading into February. I'm thinking the first 2 weeks of February, I can start with those more general informational promos. And by the time we get to the third week, we're going to have the specifics. And then,
Yeah.
there's always really, really good stuff online to give to Danielle to keep the ball rolling on that.
Yeah.
And so do you think that's too early, starting like, because February is a short month.
So you're thinking this week or
Oh God, this week is already February 1. No,
Yeah.
I can't this week.
Okay, yeah, I think next week. Yeah, I think that would be
Okay.
good.
Okay, so it would be on February 6th. Actually, February 7th would be a better date. Tuesdays are always better than Mondays for getting people's attention, I find.
Yeah.
Starting on February 7th will be and I'll space them out, the three of them, but the last two they will have to be a little bit closer together. So it'll be one that week. The following week, I can have one at the beginning and then one at the end of the week. And then the third week in February, towards the end, we can have the specifics of our event.
Yeah.
Because by then, Jen McDonald, I have to put a note, ask Jen McDonald to create a page for us.
Yeah, and then we'll have to at some point, like I think
Flyers.
get something into the electronic kiosk. You have to send it in
Oh,
3 days
I do
ahead or
that.
something.
Yeah, I create a flyer the right size and I send it to Jen, and I also send it to the America.
Yep.
Okay, and the electronic flyers are the same size as what goes into the physical kiosk around town. So I create that for them, but then I also do 8.5 by 11 smaller ones that Vanessa, last time I was doing something, put them around town in businesses, and because why couldn't I do it? She did it for me because I think I was on crutches.
Oh yeah.
So it could be that,
Yeah.
I think I wasn't able to walk. And well, I'll create, so 8.5 by 11. Yeah, but we have time for that. I mean, we have 2 weeks before that kind of thing has to start hitting. So I'll start setting up the warm up right after this week.
Yeah.
And then,
that's good.
okay, and then we'll get everything in the kiosk in good time. So it can be in and see, the weather's getting nicer, the days are getting longer, and it's not been snowing. So people are outside. They won't be outside next Saturday. Next Saturday, it's supposed to be 10 degrees.
Yeah, we're gonna have a cold snap here. That's true.
10 degrees. I mean, that's unheard of around here. 20 is okay. 10? I feel like I'm back in upstate New York.
Pretty
It's-
cold. Yeah.
Yeah, it is very cold. Okay, and I'll prepare some little bits of minutes and send it off to Eileen so that we can say yes at the next meeting that we went through all of
That
this.
sounds good.
Okay,
When do you want to meet again?
okay, that's why
Or
I
do you
have a
wanna do
calendar
a-
in front of me.
Do you want to do a doodle so that we can get Saratin and everybody else?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
I'm gonna send out some times.
Okay.
I am doing something. Okay. I just added something to my calendar that I forgot about. Okay, I'm gonna start taking Tai Chi soon too.
Hey, that's excellent. Tai Chi is a great thing.
Yep, they're doing it at the senior center, so I know it's gonna be really gentle. And I know when I've done things before that were geared towards older people, they were too easy because I'm more fit than a lot of people my age.
Well, but Tai Chi has a little bit of a different,
Yes.
philosophy to it. It's not about calisthenics or whatever. It's about energy movement and stuff like that. So
and balance, and my balance is good. I mean, I can stand on one leg for a long time holding a 10-pound weight. But as you get older, your balance deteriorates.
mhm.
And also it's a matter of, I think, in terms of gracefulness of movements, because as you get older, your movements, because I've seen this in friends of mine, that I'm still walking upright and smoothly, but other people my age are not, that
Mm,
their movements are more herky jerky, and part of that is body awareness also. I know when I took yoga, it was most helpful for body awareness more than anything else.
yeah.
So I'm excited about that. And it gives me something in a framework during the week to feel like I have something that I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, Benny, thank you so much. I really
Yeah.
appreciate this.
Happy to.
I'm going to miss you so much when you're not on the commission.
I know the time is coming to a close.
I know. You think, I know it's hard, but you think you would still occasionally step in and help out?
I was thinking about, in particular, I feel very connected to the Indigenous Peoples Day event.
Yes.
So I was
I knew
thinking
you was
maybe I'll
gonna
come
say
back
that
and
one.
volunteer here and there. Yeah.
Once you've started working on a particular commemoration, like I've been now on, there's 3 that I do.
Yeah.
And I have to hold myself back from not raising my hand for the
Volunteering
others.
for everything. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm doing 3 and I'm doing 3 big ones. And this is my 2nd year for this. It'll be my 3rd year for Asian Pacific Islander and my 3rd year for Hispanic Heritage.
Yep.
And I'm not even done until spring of 2025.
Yeah, you've got an extra long term there.
Yeah, I did recently, and I will find out soon, I hope. I applied to be on the Council of Aging.
Oh yeah, cool.
I just figured I'm one of the lucky ones. I'm, in terms of that there's other seniors in the community who are not as able. And their lives are not quite as rich as mine are, because I'm so able to be out there and do things. So I figured that's a very important organization in town. And as someone called aging, I
Yeah.
have some insight, and I would like to. Plus, it doesn't conflict at all with our work, because it's
Yeah.
totally behind the scenes stuff. It's not like this big events.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah. Okay, I'll send out a doodle.
Sounds
I'll
good.
put that
And-
as, that's the last thing on my thing.
All right.
Doodle for scheduling.
And enjoy what's left
The
of the
game?
program.
Oh, no, believe me, I saw the first quarter. I've missed a good part of the second. It's almost halftime. I cooked this morning, so I wouldn't have to interrupt. Okay. So
Planning ahead.
Oh, there's chili on the stove and salad in the refrigerator. Yes, we're going ahead. And Reed is sitting there probably like sunken into the couch at this point, because I know you don't follow football, but one of the teams, they were on their 3rd string quarterback. He got hurt at the first part of the game.
During the game.
And they don't have any, they had someone to step in, but this guy is just not, like a championship quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, the game could be very boring because they're playing against a very, very tough, very accomplished team. But the team I was really rooting for didn't even get in. I'm so disappointed. From living in upstate New York all those years, the hapless Buffalo Bills, they were horrible all those years, but they're great now. They're just terrific, and they had a great quarterback that they didn't get to the finals. And so I'm not as invested in that way, but the games are always so good. They're exciting. And even if you don't know what's going on, and Reed's very patient with me. Of course, I say, what did that mean? I have no idea. Or he'll say, do you understand that? And I'll say, no. And he doesn't make fun of me. He explains it.
Well, that's
So,
good. He's a good,
yeah.
a good football watching partner.
Yeah, it is. He's patient and quiet. I'm the noisy one. So, okay, I'll send a doodle. Thank you again so much.
You're welcome.
Enjoy
I
the
will.
rest of the evening.
Thank you. I'll see you again soon.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.